Welcome to the Life and a Bookshelf podcast with Beck Mills. Here you will find convos, connection, and random musings all about this 30-something life. We talk lifelong learning, we talk books reading, mini book reviews, writing, all the way through to home and wellness hacks and making a positive impact with our time here on earth in our own lives, our families, and out in our wider community. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hey, so today I have got a mini book review for you. So this is probably one of the first fiction books that I've read in quite a long time. I'm an avid non-fiction reader, as you probably picked up from the podcast if you've listened to some episodes, or from social media. And this is the first fiction book I read for ages, and the story of how I got it was quite funny because I was buying some gifts from the local thrift store, a little op shop, and it was for a gift, so like the 12 months of 12 books kind of idea. And this one really stood out to me, and I've learnt from experience to, when I have that curiosity and a book really stands out to me at, say, a thrift store or wherever, I will either like save it or write it down, or I'll grab it. And this one was Slumdog Millionaire, previously known as Q&A. And it's funny because I had heard of this movie. I'd heard of the movie. The book cover actually had the movie actors, the characters from that. So it was obviously a later print. And, heard the story, sort of somewhat knew what it was about, but I'd never actually seen the movie. And, of course, I hadn't actually read the book. So I was like, I'm interested in grabbing something that's a bit different to what I normally read for like over the holiday period. And I'm so glad that I picked it up, because sometimes I'm a bit like, that's really popular movie or whatever now. I don't know if I want to read it because I've seen some stuff in the media about it or whatever. I don't know why. That's just what my brain does. Anyway, I followed my curiosity and it was a great read. And I actually really enjoyed the pace of the book. Actually, it was really, at the beginning of the book, it was like really in your face. And I was a bit like, I'm not sure this is kind of my thing. This is not really my type of book. Like, I wouldn't normally like go out of my way to seek movies with I guess some of the in-your-face themes that were at the start of the book. If you've read it, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to give too many spoilers away on the podcast here, but it was really in your face. Sort of like when the storyline being, if you don't know, is that a young guy from India, he gets on a Q&A show, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but their version of it in India. And the beginning of the book is him actually, he's been arrested, he's in with the police, and they think he's cheated because the story is he can't have possibly won, right? Because he's a street kid, he's grown up as a street kid in India, so he must have cheated, right? He must have not known the answers, he must have had someone. Anyway, so they're interrogating him. Anyway, so I was a bit like taken aback by that, and I was like, I'm not sure this is really my thing. And then it got into how he started telling his story of how he knew each answer through the Q&A. And I really loved how the book was broken down that way. And I love the colourful and really descriptive language that the author used. And it was, like I said, it was really descriptive and colourful, but it was so detailed that you felt like you were right in that situation with the main character. And I think that when an author can do that and genuinely do it, it is well, number one is that it makes for a powerful fiction book, right? It's like that escape, and it's us like feeling like we're living in that world with them. But then on the other hand, it is really eye-opening, and if you've never been to that country, or you've never been in that city, or you've grown up with a very different experience, it's awesome that we can experience that through books. So the book is Slumdog Millionaire. It was also known as Q&A when it was first published. And it's by Vikas Swarup, I think it's said. Anyway, and I felt like it had just the right amount of suspense in the book as well for me, because I'm not a big crime novel person, and that goes for movies and shows and podcasts and all that. So I'm not real big on that. But I thought it had a great amount of suspense in the storytelling of how he is telling his story in the story. But also really loved that there was like big themes of taking life into your own hands, and that was really evident throughout. Being handed shit sandwich after shit sandwich after shit sandwich, and the unfairness of life. It took that big theme of taking one's life in one's own hands and really going after what it was that they wanted. I really loved that about the book. The ending had a really good twist, and it kind of had me wondering right up to the end, like, would he, wouldn't he? And I started thinking, like, why is it that he actually wanted to go on the show? So it was kind of starting to reveal little bits and pieces, and then it had a really good twist. And I thought it ended well. And the main character, who is Jamal, the 18-year-old Jamal, the young guy, the way that he describes his adventures and his point of view and his learnings, and that, how unfair life can be, but we always have choices. I think that was so powerful. So yeah, I would love to know if you've read it as well, or if you haven't, and maybe you've seen it like me, or maybe you've seen a bit about the movie and not sure whether you want to read the book. Highly recommend it. It does make me kind of want to watch the movie now. I don't know, but I love the book so much. So we'll just leave that one and see what happens. So that was a really nice, what would you call it? Rendezvous from all the nonfiction I've been reading, especially over the last year. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did. Actually, I was recently in town and at a thrift store, and I picked up another fiction, which, without much like reading a page or looking much at the blurb and understanding what it was about, again, the cover, I kind of looked at it, read a little tiny bit, and was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. So I just picked it up for $1, and amazingly, not really having an idea about what it was about. I just knew it was about a lady who went back home because she'd been away, went back to her hometown, and yeah, I guess self-discovery, returning to our roots in a way. And when I started reading it, holy moly, it's really great. And I've picked up another book that's about a place I've never visited, never been to, and just the language and describing the land and the landscape around them is really powerful. So I'll share that with you when I'm done. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, let me know over on Instagram, Life and a Bookshelf Podcast. Let me know if you've read it, if you loved it, if you hated it, maybe you've seen the movie. I would love to hear. But until next time, take care. So that's all for today. Make sure you click that follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. I thank you so much for taking the time to listen in today. Appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. You absolutely deserve it. Talk soon.